Hi, thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, February 12th, 2023. I'm going to give you a quick run through of what to expect for this week's lesson. We're going to be doing From Death to Life, which is based on Ephesians 2, verses 4 through 10. So at the very beginning, we start like we always do in the check-in room. So when you arrive around 9:30, start in the check-in room to get your volunteer sticker and join together to pray before going to the classroom. When you get to the classroom, there should be 4 adults serving this week, and 1 adult should be taking attendance at the door as the students arrive in the white binder that is on top of the white bookcase by the door. Another adult should be getting the TV ready on the YouTube app for our worship time. So going ahead and getting Open the Eyes of My Heart, and that's just the rest of the information for how to find it on YouTube, but it should pop up pretty quickly when you type in Open the Eyes of My Heart. It's just a version of the song with dance movements. So you can actually start playing that so that the music will play as students are doing their centers, and then just rewind it for when it is time to do the worship time together. So students will begin arriving and working on centers at their tables. At 10:10, that time is up. So usually give them a 5-minute warning around 10:05. They have about 5 more minutes to play. And at 10:10, it is time to clean up. This can get very chaotic. So normally we tell the kids to clean up, and then just to sit at their table, to be called to return that center choice back to the white bookcase, and then be called by grade level to the carpet. So I always start with kindergarten, making my way up to 5th grade so that our younger kids have an opportunity to sit at the front of the carpet. Around 10:20, you'll be done with the song, and it will be time for the 3rd to 5th grade students to go upstairs. They're going to exit that door that is behind the worship area. That door is important because on that door is a yellow bag which has everything that you'll need for upstairs. Your key on a lanyard to be able to unlock the main door upstairs is in there. You can also throw your cell phones in there. You must carry your cell phones upstairs with you with the volume on, because you will be receiving a text when it is time to come back downstairs as the parents are beginning to take communion and are about to come check out kids from the classroom. And I'm actually upstairs for this video today because I wanted to kind of walk you through where some of the stuff is located upstairs. So once you are upstairs with the yellow bag with the 3rd through 5th graders, both groups will do the monthly memory verse in their 2 different ways. So downstairs, you're doing it as a whole group, and there's going to be a few missing words. So we are on week 2, but the things that come out of a person are what defile him. So there'll be just a few missing words for them to work together to fill in that missing part. Whereas upstairs, they're going to write that entire part. Normally, I break it up into chunks of 3 words so that several students have a chance to help, but I'm going to show you what those papers look like. So when you were upstairs, this is the boys' side of the room. Their paper was big enough that they could do their January memory verse and their February memory verse up here. So they got their first part on last Sunday, and then it's written here, but the things that come out of a person are what defile him. It is on the lesson plan. It's also on there. They should not write the mark 7:15 on there yet. That's for next week. The girls have the same thing on their side of the room. And I'm going to show you where all of the materials are located upstairs. So when you first walk in the room upstairs, there is a white, one of those like square cubbies on both sides of the door. So it's the girl one and the boy one, and they're kind of the mirror image of one another where items are located. So the top left one that is closest to the door for the boys, the top right one that is closest to the door for the girls, holds everything that the teacher would need. It includes your prayer request book. It includes 2 or 3 copies of the Gospel Story Bible. It includes your extra large Sharpie for the kids to write their memory verse portion on. And that is all that is in there. So everything that the teacher will need. In the middle on the top row is everything that you'll need for your craft or your object lesson is always in that middle one. On the right is their composition books if they have time to journal. A pair of scissors accidentally ended up in there. But so it's their journals if there's time for journaling. And on the bottom shelf, not all of them are full. On the left, there's another copy of the Gospel Story Bible. We'll move that over so both groups will have 3. And in the middle is Bibles. So when they're looking up their ESV verses, if they did not bring their own Bible, the bottom middle shelf has all of the Bibles. And then the right is empty. All right, so both groups will do their memory verse, and following practicing that memory verse together, reciting it multiple times, it's time to do prayer. The students can share prayer requests, write them down in the prayer request book. If you are downstairs, the teachers will guide them through a prayer based on those prayer requests with the kids. If you are upstairs, offer to let them have the opportunity to pray for the prayer request. We have some kids who love to do that, and it's a great way to let them model that for the other kids. And then all together, you'll pray the Lord's Prayer. It is in the downstairs classroom as well as the upstairs classroom, so that if kids don't know them, make sure to point it out to them so that they don't feel nervous to get the words wrong. Following the prayer, we move into our Bible story lesson, which this week is story 142, From Death to Life, on pages 284 and 285 in the Gospel Story Bible. So I have this as a combined thing. So if you're in K-2, you're going to read the story. There are some questions on the page that you can do together. And then afterwards, you're going to look at the verses that the story references, which I broke it down a little bit shorter than what the book says, to Ephesians 2, 4 through 10. If you're downstairs, they're going to locate that passage. Take your time with that part so that they are working on being able to locate a Bible verse. And then they're just going to follow along as the teacher reads it to them. If you are upstairs in 3rd through 5th, they should be locating it and then reading it independently or with a partner before the teacher reads it out loud to them. Then the follow-up questions for both groups are the same. This comes from the follow-up book, Long Story Short or Old Story New, that we use to pull these questions from. So following our Bible story, we have a follow-up craft and object lesson. So if you're in K-2, you have a craft, which is a coloring sheet. And it has a verse on there. I'm going to show that to you in just a second. This is the coloring sheet that K-2 will be doing. It has Ephesians 2, 8 through 10 on it. They can trace it. I used a font that's like traceable, so they should be tracing that first before they color their lifesaver. If they finish this and they're looking for something extra to do, have them flip it on the back and write their memory verse from Mark 7:15 on the back of this sheet. Now, if you are upstairs, you're doing an object lesson. So if you remember that middle container on the top shelf of the square white container holder that is by the door, there is the stuff for your object lesson. You're going to be doing something with pennies, glass, vinegar, and salt. You're going to hand out some pennies and talking about the value of them, which is worth the most. Hopefully they'll know that they are all the same. This is scripted, so you can go through the entire thing with them, but as part of it, you're going to be going through Ephesians 2:10, and you're also going to be cleaning the pennies, which is why you have the vinegar and the salt. So the trick to it is to completely fill that vinegar with salt so that it is no longer able to stir anymore in. That just sits at the bottom. So you have a cup in there, you have a spoon to stir, pour vinegar in, pour the salt in until it can no longer stir in anymore, and then put the pennies in to show how the pennies are washed clean. So that will, if you want to walk through what the exact wording is on here, you can, or you can do it by your own phrasing. And that is their object lesson for this week. The remainder of it is here. So it starts here on this part of the page and it continues on to the next page. And so if you are upstairs, be watching for that text. Make sure you have the volume on your phone up so that you know when it is time to come back downstairs. It is typically around 10:20, but it can go shorter or longer by 5 or 10 minutes or so. So just keep an eye out for the text. When you do come back downstairs, enter in through that back door where the worship area is, because if parents have begun to arrive, we don't want to kind of cut into that line. And so they can enter in that back door by the worship area. So when they arrive, one teacher should stay back in the worship area and be in charge of handing out Bible prizes for kids who have remembered to bring their Bibles today. And the other one teacher should be doing the dismissal. You can bring 1 or 2 kids over with you to collect stickers or to be the runners as parents arrive to go and pick up the kids to bring them to their parents. Make sure to collect stickers onto the sticker ball, highlight their names as they're picked up, and that is it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I will be here this Sunday, but I won't be back in the back because my little Luke is being dedicated this week. But if you have any questions, feel free to text me or call me, or you can ask me in person on Sunday when I come back there for a little bit. But thank you guys so much for serving, and I will see you on Sunday.